All right. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a Town of Star Valley Ranch special meeting on Tuesday, December 23rd at 2 p.m. We do have all councilmen in attendance. We have Councilman Bitter and Councilman Ellis are attending on Zoom. Let the record reflect that we also have Town Administrator Aiken, Town Billing Clerk Bowers, and also Nick Lipscotch. I got it. Oh, sorry, it was close. From Public Works, who is lending a hand, making sure our IT runs smoothly today. We also have Building Official Kazir in attendance. Also on Zoom, we have Mr. Scott Cupp and also Miss Audrey Cohen-Davis, who is representing the Cupps in this matter. So with that, I believe I've counted for everyone. If we could go ahead and, if I could ask for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
All right, thank you. It's been moved by Councilman Merrill. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Toolson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right. So the purpose of this meeting today is to consider two variances for Plat 19, Lot 2, 1959 Sunrise Mountain Place. The council received copies.
Recording in progress.
That's okay. The council received copies of the first variance. This meeting is actually a follow-on to the meeting that we had last week where we were considering a variance and the council did not come to a decision. And just for those who weren't in attendance at that meeting, the issue with the permit is that the property, the building is too high. There's also a complication in that the town issued the permit mistakenly at a height that was above our building code of 35 feet. And so subsequent to that, we've been going through a process to see where we can come to a solution for all the parties involved, and variances have come to the surface as the best way to get after that at this time. After some discussions with our town attorney, the first variance, it was requested, not requested, recommended that the town consider a variance basically for the mistake that we made in permitting the property at a height of 39 feet 8 inches. So that's what the first variance on the agenda is. So I'd like to open that up for council discussion, for questions. I know you've been provided with a lot of information the past few days, and the variance document is something that the town drafted and that the town attorney did review, and he believed that it did cover what he recommended as far as the town putting a variance forward to document the error that was made in permitting the residence to the height of 39 feet 8 inches. So any comment or questions from the council at this time, or from council that are on Zoom?
I did have a question about the, it said 2 feet 10 inches, but I thought it was supposed to be 2 feet and 8 inches. I actually had somebody else just bring this to me, so I didn't do the math correctly.
I know, I asked for a double check on the math. So the one side of the building, which is going to be addressed in variance 2, is at 42.6 is the total height, and that is because there is a walkout basement. And so we were looking at the difference between 39.8 and 42.6 and came up with 210. Did we do math wrong? That's not my strong suit.
Mine either, but I thought it was 2 feet and 8 inches,
Okay.
not 2 feet and 10. When I double checked as well, but please feel free to verify that. And just only because it's in the ordinance, or like in the variance, I just didn't know.
We could certainly make a pencil correction to that if that
Okay.
math is not right.
Okay.
So thank you for pointing that out. I did, like I said, when we did the math, I was like, let's make sure we get this right. So we'll double check that again.
Okay. And I may have had like the numbers reversed because I wasn't sure, so yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the council on this one? Okay, then I'd like to ask for a motion to approve variance number 1 for Plat 19, Lot 2, which covers the permitted height of 39 feet 8 inches.
I motion. Oh, go ahead.
As on lot, on the clump lot, as approved, 39 feet 8 inches.
Okay, there's a motion from Councilman Ellis. Is there a second?
I second.
And a second from Councilman Bitter. Okay, at this time, if there's any public comment on the matter, please feel free to come to the podium and state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes, so.
Hello, council. My name is Lars Robinson, and I live in Plat 20. I'm also a builder, and I'm totally opposed to this because this building we're in right now is as tall as that house. This building is 45 feet. And, you know, I asked myself this question. When my daughter did something wrong, did I reward her for wrongdoing? 39.8 is unreal. That was a mistake made on the town, passed through planning and zoning, through the official. 2 sets of eyes were on it. And then the builder took it upon himself to build the building another 3 feet. So the way I see it, that thing needs to be torn down. And I don't mean all the way down, I actually think it could be salvaged. But it's too high. We don't need another town hall. We don't need another tabernacle. We need a home. It's up against the forest. It's a fire danger. And if that house doesn't have a sprinkler system, it shouldn't be approved anyways. So I'm totally against any variance. We don't reward bad behavior here. Thank you. Happy holidays.
All right. Thank you for your comment. Any other public comment on variance number 1? Okay.
I'm sorry,
Yes,
I
go
did
ahead.
have a citizen submit an email, and then I did make it for you guys, but I didn't realize we're gonna have people.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
and then passing down Trevor too. Do you want me to just read it out loud?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that for the record?
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council at the outset.
Can I, oh, sorry, and who is submitting this? Because there's no name on it.
Marty and his last name, Orion?
Orion?
Orion.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council. At the outset, I'd like to state that I'm neither opposed nor in support of approving the new building plan, regardless what the council chooses to call it. My concern is more in the area of consistency, both past and future. I would wonder what the point of having building codes and plan approvals and an inspector to enforce both is if when something goes amiss, we as a town will rush in to fix it for the individual rather than to ensure consistency and conformity. That doesn't mean we can never or should never make exceptions, but when they are legitimate questions concerning how all of the errors or deviations came about, we should have clear and clean answers before we push those exceptions through. Additionally, when an exception is being considered, the usual process is for the builder, or the client of the builder to seek the exceptions on their own. Having town or council officials draft and propose then puts all the responsibility on the town. It's akin to negotiating with yourself, and that nearly always perverts the process. There has been an allegation of cover-up. I don't know if this is the case, and I truly hope and want to trust that it is not at all the case. But having a town official propose the request for exception, having a town official draft such on behalf of the entities seeking it can easily lend to that perception. In business and government, perception is nearly everything. The usual custom is the builder or the client becomes aware of the error and they seek exception that they propose. Litigation may arise if the town is unreasoning, but if we propose it, that lends to the impression, even if not true, that we favor the side that threatens litigation. How in the future do we deal with a builder or citizen in a similar situation without our town then being the moving entity for making the proposal to fix the error or design the deviation? We have codes for a reason. Even when we make a mistake, if it is also their mistake, they need to propose the repair, and we need to be open to the possibility. Here it seems we are almost eager to own all of it and hold the builder and his client not only harmless but as a harmed party. Thankfully, I'm not on the council. If I were, I'd table this until the builder makes an application for an exception and provides all the plans showing the original and the amendments from beginning to end. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you for reading that. Any other public comment on variance number 1? Yes.
20 Violas, Plat 17. Just One question, is this the first time this builder has built on the ranch?
No,
So the builder is aware of what rules were if they built before this? And the builder saw the plans that showed 39 feet?
so I'm not going to comment for the builder.
Okay. I mean, he turned the papers in to the town.
So I can tell you that on our town building permit form, there is a section where it has to be initialed, and one of those parts that's initialed states that I have read and understand I must comply with the town building code. So,
But I mean, it wasn't the first time the builder built here
correct.
who understood the first number of times.
There's not been this issue before with this builder that I'm aware of, so.
Well, that's exactly it, because they followed the code up to that point.
I just want to comment, first of all, this is an ordinance, it's not a code. There's several buildings that are above 35 feet, like your apartment complex you own, that's above 35 feet, which is stick build. This is a town ordinance, not a building code, I want to make that clear.
I'm sorry, that's correct.
I think I
But it
interchanged those
was-
two, so sorry.
It's an ordinance that you require to be followed.
Yes.
The town ordinance,
Yes,
that's correct.
okay.
So,
And the builder was aware of what the ordinance is,
they did,
because they built here before.
and they did sign the building permit, yes.
Okay. Question?
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes.
Kathy Dalton. Have a procedural question, and that is that I see that you have two ordinances, or two variances that you're looking at.
Right.
So if you vote on the first one, how does that affect the second one? I don't understand the procedure here.
Right, so the first one was recommended by our town attorney that we use the variance to document that the town made the mistake of permitting the build at that height of 39 foot 8 inches. And then subsequent to that, when our town building official discovered that we had made a mistake, when he went to go inspect the property, it was also discovered that the house was higher on one side than what we had permitted. So the second variance is covering that additional height on the one side. So that's the recommendation that was made to us as a town, was to split them up for the town to take ownership of the mistake we made with the first variance. And then the property owner is now submitting the variance to cover the additional height on the one side of the building. And also due to the kind of the time sensitivity, since there was a stop work, it was also recommended that the council take up both variances directly instead of waiting for a planning commission meeting and recommendation and then coming to the council.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment on this? Okay. I think I did ask for council comments, but since we had some other public comments, any other council comments?
I do.
Questions? Okay.
The first variance, I am going to back Scott and our employee. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, and so this proposition, this variance that we've gotten, I feel like in listening to our town attorney and backing somebody that is very important to this community and this town, especially going into the future, those are my comments on this variance.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
I think I would just like to comment, with me not backing this variance, it's not to not give my kudos to our building official, because I think he does a great job and his position has really been needed in our community, so we're very lucky to have him and his skill. But I feel like we should have backed him from the beginning when this information was found out and he wanted to do a stop work order in November. So at this point, we're not approving a variance for the mistake that was made at the footage that is put down.
Councilman Bitter, do you have any comments?
On variance one?
Yes.
No.
Okay, Councilman Ellis?
Not on variance one.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call for the question. I'm going to call for a roll call vote, just because we do have councilmen on Zoom, so I just want to make sure all the votes get recorded. So on the motion to approve variance number 1, Councilman Merrill, how do you vote?
Nay.
Okay. Councilman Bitter, how do you vote on the motion to approve variance 1?
Yay.
I'm sorry, was that yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay, thank you, okay. It's a little hard to hear on Zoom. Thank you. Councilman Toolson?
Yay.
Thank you. Councilman Ellis?
Yay.
All right. The mayor also votes yay. So variance number 1 is approved. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is variance number 2. And then just to clarify, this is a variance submitted by the property owners for an additional height on the western side of the house that does have a walkout basement. And if you measure that, it is above the 39.8 feet that was originally approved by the town. So any discussion from the council on this one? I know we've talked about it last week and had some more information to look at in between that meeting and this one. So any further comments or discussion?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I take this position very serious, and we have ordinances in place for a reason. And I believe that asking for forgiveness after the fact is setting a very bad precedence. So I will be denying this variance or voting no.
Okay. I appreciate the comments. One other thing to bring up is that as the town's been working through this process, and it has been slow. The property was permitted in May as far as the permit that was issued. The error on the town's part was not discovered until November. And so we were at that point trying to work through, what's the best way to approach this. I think the footers and things didn't go in until September, so the home didn't really get underway until the fall. And then we did not discover our mistake until last month. But in addition to considering these variances now, the town also has other ordinances we've been looking at that deal with building permits and how there's a handle. And Administrator Aiken, do you have any additional information as far as penalties or how else we'll hold accountable the builder on this matter?
Yes, so reading through our ordinances, there's a couple things I'd like to just bring to the council's attention. So there's several ways when we have an issue like this, if the builder, if the plans aren't followed exactly, and I'll just read a couple things from the code. So from 150.057B, we have something that's enforceable there that says failure to comply with approved drawing and specifications. So a first offense is listed as $200, a second offense is $300, and the third is a court appearance. But it does also say in our enforcement guidelines there that if there's a situation that's of such complexity that it warrants being brought before a judge, we can choose to go with the mandatory court appearance instead of starting with the $200 first offense. There's also another violation potentially that we've looked at, and it's in section 150.060, building construction and requirements, and it's letter B says any change from the approved plans requires submission of written request and town approval prior to proceeding with the change. So this is something we're looking at from an administrative point of view, and we haven't reached a final determination. I found a couple little technical issues with the ordinance, and I just would like to run that by the town attorney before I make a final decision on choosing what is the best course of action there. So I want to bring that to the attention of the council. There's some other things in the code I could read as well if you want. Later on, just as as far as accountability, the same section, 150.060, if you go down, I'm sorry, we're in 154.009, enforcement and fines, also states in number 2, the town at the sole discretion may issue warning instead of citations if it deems proper. And if you go on to 150.023, town not liable to property owners, the end of that paragraph says it is the owner's responsibility to ensure compliance with the town's adopted building codes identified in this subchapter. So those are things we're also looking at, but like I said, there's a couple technical things in there that I just want to run by our attorney before we come to a final determination on how to best handle the violation.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Can I just ask a
Sure.
question? So I just want to be clear, there's nothing that was submitted from the time that it was built until the time that we found the error. There was just a point that you just brought up, like if there had been written submission, we didn't have any written or verbal before we figured it out.
So this was discovered on Scott's framing inspection, which is where it would have been discovered that the building was too tall. So we've met several times and we took accurate measurements, Scott and I, and Mr. Isaac and Jordan as well. So there's been several conversations here, but I'm not sure if I answered your question.
No, I'm just, like, before, so we didn't get any kind of written not like a request to have it built further than the 39.398.
We did not get, and this is my understanding, the truss plans were revised to accommodate additional insulation, and we did not receive those, which is where the extra height ended up coming from. So, and then that was discovered when Scott went to do the inspection, yeah, and realized that the building looked taller than what it should.
Okay.
And that's when we discovered our error, and then also found the additional
Footage.
height, yeah.
Because of the insulation.
Yeah. Any other comments or discussion? Councilman Ellis or Councilman Bitter, anything else on variance 2? Councilman Merrill.
I can make my statement now. I will, if that's okay.
Yeah,
I wanted to just state that on the prior meeting, I abstained my vote, as I wanted to see more of an effort to correct the issue as much as it was possible at this point or stage of the construction. I appreciate the effort from the applicant and his contractor to now provide something that shows us how they're trying to minimize the overall effect of the height restriction, and which has led or caused the work stoppage to date. I just want to state, I for one consider our ordinances to be very important, like Councilman Toulson mentioned earlier. And we've got to be able to follow them. We can't, nobody is under that, the premise that they can't, or they shouldn't follow it. So however, I also believe that the topography of the land dictates in certain circumstances or certain variances to those ordinances that should be considered individually. And that's why we have the variance process. Not all lots are created equal. Definitely doesn't mean that our variance process should be overlooked or ignored. I would not be fulfilling my responsibility to the town if I were to ignore those issues or these types of issues. The entire process could have been avoided, in my mind, had a request for a second height variance been issued prior to the actual height of the roof being completed. Stop order is taken very seriously, and as such, we have taken every effort to expedite this process as quickly as possible. I want to personally thank everybody that's had, their patience to get to over the last couple of weeks to get to this point. And then that's all I have to say right now.
okay. Thank you, Councilman Bitter. Councilman Ellis, did you have anything?
At this point,
Okay. Councilman Merrill.
I just wanted to say, like, this second variance that we received from the cups, like, I appreciate what they're trying to accomplish with having the ADA doors and the downstairs being primarily a living space, so they need the ADA. I don't think, at least for me personally, I'm not arguing that. Like, that's important for someone to have in their home. I think my problem is the actual height of the house. So even moving dirt in, it doesn't change that the house is too tall. And I don't think throwing topsoil down is going to remedy that the way it should be remedied. It actually, it's at the top of the house, the roof. And I haven't seen any variance to actually address that problem. And because of that, I'll definitely be denying, since it's out of our ordinance
Okay.
parameters, so.
For the public that's here, the variance that was submitted, variance number 2, as we're referring to it, did include some proposed remediations for the height on that western side of the house, to include changing the grade and bringing
Installing
in
a retaining wall.
a retaining wall, and also putting some trees. The home does sit on a cul-de-sac, and it does back up to the mountains. Doesn't impede anyone's view, but they did come in with, remedies short of, pulling the roof off and pulling the house down, so. Okay, if there's no other discussion from the council, I'd like to go ahead and ask for a motion on variance number 2 to either approve or to deny.
I move we deny variance number 2 for plat 19, lot 2.
Okay, there's
Is
a
there any
mo,
discussion?
after we get the motion.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
There's a motion to deny variance number 2 by Councilman Toolson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Merrill. Okay, and with that, is there any public comment on variance number 2 before we can continue?
Carolyn Thacker, flat 18. When you talk about trust changes, was anybody notified with the trust changes? Was it just a decision made upon the builder or the homeowner? Were you notified?
No.
Oh, and that's where the administrator's discussion and comments a short time ago about other violations of the town ordinances comes into play.
Okay. Again, I know it's town, I know I'm association, I know they're not part of our association, but it sets a precedence if we don't resolve this in the correct way. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments on variance number 2? Okay, yes.
I'm Dirk Isaac, the owner of Northridge Homes. I am the builder. The variance is to bring up the soil so it would comply with your approval of variance 1 to the 98 feet, 8 inches.
Yeah,
We'll go to there a couple times. So by bringing the soil up, it does comply. And that's where usually the measurements of your homes are referenced from, is from the finished grade. And so it does comply by putting up the retaining wall and bringing the soil to the finished grade. It does comply to your approved variance.
He's got a plan right here to show that.
Correct. So it does comply.
Is it not from the foundation up?
That's what the retaining wall is for.
That's what the retaining wall and the soil, it brings up, and that's where you measure.
But-
When you go to measure anything, that's where your measurement is.
So what about the entrance there on the bottom floor? Like, wouldn't there have to be an entrance?
That's an entrance
One
right there.
entrance, and you can see that actually where the open to the entrance for the wheelchair.
This is
the
the
accessibility.
ADA. This is for the
The
ADA
pitch to
entrance.
roof.
So that's still below where the retaining wall would be?
But where the retaining wall will extend over, and as you can see, the
Here's a piece of retaining wall
dimensions are
here.
divided.
That would give you the
Did you not look
visual.
at this?
I actually did look at it, but what my understanding is, it would be measured from the bottom of the door, like where the foundation is, where the actual
Why would it
bottom
be
of the
measured there? It
door.
doesn't say that in the ordinance.
Well, I just didn't understand that it would be at the top of the retaining wall. Is that what you're
Correct.
trying to say?
That's where your soil is.
Yeah.
That's your finished grade.
To me, it's still the height of the building. It's still too high then, so it should be from the roof, not from the bottom, but that's just,
From the roof, it's to finished grade, that's where your measurements are, and your ordinance is to clarify.
oh no, I
Yeah.
understand the ordinance,
He's talking about from the view up, this would be finished
Yeah.
grade. So,
but it's not right now.
No, we're under construction. We don't do that until you're finished.
Yeah.
You don't ever bring your finished grade in until you're complete on your project.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you actually do.
that's correct. I mean, it's, it's a solution. And it's not a bad solution, being that from the view, you're not going to be able to see, you know, the height difference, and it still allows them to do the ADA.
Well, the ADA should be allowed anyway if they do
Yes.
it the other way from like taking the roof off and fixing the ceiling height as well, or even the grade of the roof. If that was changed, then the house would be in our well, not in our ordinance, but at least with the new variance that passed, it would be
This is just
within that.
This is an alternative method that, and Dirk's correct, it doesn't state, you know, what final grade is, you know, is basically what we're looking at. So by
But
the time
normally, the
he gets-
final grade is already there before, like, when you go to build, right? Like,
No.
you already know what the grade is?
No.
Well, then why is it too high right now?
Because you excavate.
Yep. Only on that end is it too high as it looks now, but
The very front view of it?
yes.
Yeah.
So he's changing the front view with the grade.
And it'll be under your 39 feet 8 inches.
Can it be under 35? Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Dirk.
All right, any other public comment on variance number 2?
I'm looking at the structure right now, so I'm there and I took a picture of it. And, you know, the builder here, he's talking about 3 feet in the trusses for insulation. I could achieve the proper insulation with a TGI joist as a Raptor. Building up from the ground is incorrect. It should have been built on grade. If you look in the rest of the neighborhood, it doesn't match. And that would be for the association to verify. But, no,
So they are under a different HOA in Sunrise. It is not part of the Star Valley Ranch Association. It's part of the Sunrise Mountain Estates Homeowners Association.
interesting. Well, what's their rules say? But this thing's way too tall, and it's gonna won't look right. Because the grade, looking at this picture, is gonna come up halfway through the door, halfway through the windows. And should have been concrete there, but you can get away with masonry on the wall, keep it from going inside. But no, it's not gonna look right.
I know, I've seen it.
So voting no on this variance is the right thing to do. It's an easy fix. Unfortunately, it has to be done that way. I'm sorry, we should have thought about that first.
Any other public comments on this variance number 2? Okay, council, any further comments or discussion? Councilman Ellis or Councilman Bitter, any further comment or discussion before we go to the vote? Okay, hearing none. All right, we have a motion to deny variance number 2. I'm going to again do a roll call vote just to make sure we get all the votes recorded properly. So on the motion to deny variance number 2, Councilman Merrill, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay. Councilman Bitter, how do you vote on the motion to deny?
Nay.
Okay, Councilman Toolson, how do you vote on the motion to deny?
Aye.
Councilman Ellis, how do you vote on the motion to deny?
Hey,
Mayor votes nay. So the motion to deny is defeated. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve variance number 2. Is there a motion to approve?
will we approve variance number 2?
So motion to approve variance number 2 from Councilman Ellis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Bitter. Go through the roll call again. Could I get, on the motion to approve variance number 2, Councilman Merrill?
Nay.
Councilman Bitter on the motion to approve.
Nay.
Was that?
A with a Y.
Oh, yay, okay, thank you. Again, it's hard to hear sometimes. Councilman Toolson,
Nay.
Councilman Ellis,
Based on the pending penalty phase that's coming, I vote yea.
Mayor also votes yay. So the motion to approve variance number 2 is approved. That, could I get a motion to adjourn?
I move we
I
adjourn this
move we
meeting.
adjourn.
Okay. That's a motion from Councilman Ellis to adjourn and a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Merrill. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I
Thank you. We are adjourned at 2:35. Thank you, council.